A lot has happened in the last month. The Bank of Canada has reduced their key interest rate by 25 basis points or 0.25%, which is positive news for those buyers in the market looking for variable mortgages. There's lots of inventory, relatively speaking. We're at high levels for the last 10 years. So if you're a buyer, it's great for you. You have lots of options. If you're a seller, there's more competition, although it's less than we've seen in December and November. So if you're looking to buy or sell in the near future, stick around for my personal advice at the end of this video, or you can jump straight to it. Now, let's roll the intro. So we're entering an interesting market dynamic. We've actually added 25% more listings this year versus last January, and we've actually had less sales than we did last January. There's two ways to look at this. If you're a buyer, you've got more options. If you're a seller, there's more competition, making things a little bit more difficult to sell. We're in limbo right now. When people are uncertain, they tend to steer away from making very important life decisions. So that's definitely pulling some excitement out of the market. I think when the weather turns, we get a little bit of higher temperatures, some more sunshine. We get a little bit of peace of mind and ease with what's happening with our brothers and sisters in the US. And once we figure out what track we're on from a political standpoint in Canada, I think that it will bring more folks back into the market and back into a buying and selling mode. With that in mind, let's take a look at the sales activity that happened in January. A total of 329 residential homes were sold through the MLS system in Waterloo Region in January. This represents a 12% decrease compared to January of last year and a decrease of almost 19% compared to the average number of homes sold in the previous 10 years for January. Total residential sales in January included 188 detached homes, 21 semis, 81 townhomes, and 39 condo units. So that gives us a good overview of activity. Now let's dive into price. The average sale price for all residential properties in Waterloo Region was just under $756,000, down 1% compared to January of 24 and down 0.6% compared to December of 24. The average sale price of detached home was just under $883,000. Semis were just under $635,000. Townhomes were just over $630,000. And apartment-style condominiums were just under $470,000. Now, let's wrap up with volume. There were 901 new listings added to the MLS system in KW and area in January. This is up 25% compared to January of 2024 and up almost 28% compared to the previous 10-year average for January. There were almost 1,300 homes available for sale in an active status at the end of January. This is a monster increase of almost 50% compared to January of 2024 and up almost 72% compared to the previous 10-year average of 992 listings for January. There were 2.3 months of inventory at the end of January, an increase of almost 44% compared to last year. Condos continued to have the highest inventory with 5.1 months supply, followed by townhomes with 3.5 months supply and detached homes with 1.5 months supply. The average number of days to sell in January was 33 compared to 37 days in the previous month and 12 days longer than the previous 5-year average of 21 days. So my 2 cents, we're in a bit of a lull. There's a number of factors that are really impacting what's happening, most of them out of our control, all of them out of our control. Weather, number one, cold winters. Things tend to be slower when the weather's crappier outside, it's colder. Politics, US and Canadian. Interest rates can be positive, but there's a lot of different things pulling and on this sort of scale of hot market or slow market. I think with the factor of uncertainty, that's the biggest factor that's impacting this market right now. People don't really know what's happening. So if you're buying or selling now, a lot of folks are asking me, should I buy now? Should I sell now? Should I wait to buy? Should I wait to sell? At the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you to do anything. You need to do what's right for you. If you need to sell, you need to sell. If you need to buy, you need to buy. life goes on, and timing the market is really a huge fallacy. People overanalyze and get super granular on when the best time is to do whatever, to jump. For me, I don't know. It's just don't get caught up in the weeds on things like that. Ultimately, right now, if you're a buyer, it's a great opportunity in terms of selection, right? Is it gonna get better in the next month? Is it gonna get worse? Nobody has a crystal ball. I think once we get some more clarity on what's happening in life and in the world in the next few months, we're gonna get a little bit more confidence to jump into the market if people are kind of sitting on the sidelines. But if you gotta buy, you got plenty of options now. The rates are pretty good. We're getting into another interest rate announcement March 12th if you're gonna be jumping into a variable rate, although I don't really know who wants to jump into a variable rate right now, especially with how crazy things are and how uncertain they are. A lot of folks are probably, especially after being burned after the 2022 rate increases, are probably veering in to pay a little bit more with a fixed rate, but know what their payment is and have less risk that way. Although if you're a cowboy, you can ride the variable rate and maybe you'll be all right, maybe you won't. We'll have to wait and see on that. If you're a seller, right now, it's even more vital to make sure that your home is you're working with the right person that will maximize and optimize your success in this market, because you can't control the market. You can only control your home, how it shows, how it's presented, how it's marketed, and more importantly, who's negotiating on your behalf. At the end of the day, videos, pictures, social media, print advertising, all that stuff, that gets people to be aware of your home and your home to get attention. But getting the deal across the finish line takes a lot more than just fancy pictures or a 360 tour. To get it to the finish line, you need someone who's a great negotiator. Negotiation is a very intangible skill. Some have it, some don't. If you don't have it, you don't even know. So you're leaving money on the table if you don't have the right person in your corner. That's it for this month, folks. We'll see you next month. I hope you stay warm out there. Stay safe. Peace out. Take care.